Hello, and welcome to Defense Diaries. I'm your host, Bob Mata, and this is our continuing coverage of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus Brian Walshe. And I am once again joined by my beautiful, brilliant co-host, the one who really makes shit happen over at the house. She fed me this morning because I'm not going to lie. It's probably going to take me about 6 minutes to get out of hanger mode because I was definitely not in a great mood, like as of 7 minutes ago. But Allie went and grabbed us brekkie, and I just snarfed that down. So I'm already feeling better. It's happening. I can feel it physiologically.
I'm so happy because we actually have fun plans this weekend, like literally adult fun plans. And I was like, just talked to our friends about 6 minutes ago, and I was like, that Bobby seems like he's in quite a little mood today. It's like they're like, "Are you sleeping at the Airbnb?" I'm like, I think so, but I'm getting a really hard read on my husband today.
Yeah, I'm stressed for.
They were like, "Hey, do the live in the car. Start coming."
Not doing that.
I know.
Not doing that.
Suggest it to you.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't join us yesterday, this is our, as I said, our continuing coverage, but specifically of the suppression motion hearing that took place. I don't know if it was a couple of weeks ago. YouTube reads it as a month. I don't think it was a month ago. Maybe it was. I don't know. I just know Mel covered it pretty recently. So, and we left off yesterday with Yuri Buhkenik on the stand. He had just gone through his direct examination by the prosecutor. And now Larry Tipton is about to start the cross-examination. And if you're unfamiliar with what's going on here, kind of the thumbnail of it is that the defense is seeking to basically bar all of it, all of the evidence they collected based on a couple of concepts, but the primary one being that when they went and got consent to search Brian Walshe's phone, along with an iPad mini that was used by his 6-year-old, that they went beyond, way beyond the scope of that consent in terms of what they were allowed to look at. That is where they end up finding these very, very damning, that's a kind way to put it, Google searches that were on the iPad. And kind of way this thing works, the fruit of the poisonous tree. And I went through it briefly yesterday, and it's, if the roots are poison, the fruit's poison. It's that simple. And the problem is for the prosecution and law enforcement is that everything that's born out of that illegal search is gone. If the judge rules that way, if the judge finds there was, first, she finds that there's, a constitutional violation and that there's not an exception that applies, such as inevitable discovery, which Allie and I have kind of been trying to guide you through this thing where we're saying, all right, well, there's that. Was there enough probable cause absent that stuff to where they could have gone and gotten the warrant, which saves the day for them. So it's interesting. And we're just about to get into the nuts and bolts of the cross here.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna
let
start
me
right
just
from the beginning. Yeah.
let me just touch on what he testified. Buchanan testified to yesterday. According to him, he talked to the defendant's lawyer about a full, complete extraction, which now he knows how that works. In Karen Reed, he had to go and piecemeal his own stuff through the FBI, but now he's all about the full extraction. So he's claiming that he only talked to them about a full extraction. Then there were conversations between the prosecution and the defense attorney about the limitations of the extraction, which the lawyer claims was limited to communications. But the next thing that Mr. Buchanan, or Trooper, or whatever he is now, Buchanan gets is an email saying that the searches of the communications are limited to X, Y, and Z. And he testified that he believed it was a full extraction with only those limitations. Meanwhile, the attorney says no, it was supposed to be communications only and limited communications. The witnesses that testified before Buchanan testified they never spoke to the defendant about anything else other than looking at his communications, text messages, between him and his wife, things of that nature. It sounds like they not only did a search of his internet search history, but and that actually may have come later after they got his search history. Maybe they got a warrant for his GPS data. But if the information in those later warrants is extracted, like you can't rely on the searches, the judge has to decide, was there enough there to do that? They still would have said that warrant, that there was enough to issue a warrant for the subsequent searches. So everything could fall on this. And like Bob said, we're sort of, as people are testifying, pointing out what might the judge be able to latch on to as other bases or other things that she can pile up to establish probable cause without the search history. And back to you, Bob.
And here I am. I had to go get a drink.
I have to get a drink too.
Oh, okay.
Well, while
I'll
you
kill some
pull up,
time here.
while you pull up the exact spot you were at, I'll just
I
read
got it.
Okay, so
Ready.
pop it up and I'll read Ellen's super sticker. Susan Simpson and her gang taught me about heroes in the law and truth. So thank you for keeping on spreading the word. Also would like a family hug.
Family hug. So Ellen, couple of things.
And
love Susan Simpson. Susan and Jacinda are both amazing. I'm friends with both of them. Susan's an amazing attorney. She's a fighter, fights to the death. Jacinda's a great investigative reporter. They've got a great podcast. Actually, at the True Crime Podcast Festival 2 years ago, Susan and Jacinda were there, and I moderated their panel that they were having at that particular festival. So that was when I kind of met them in earnest, and then we developed a friendship after that. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to get to meet them and pick their brains. And Susan's brilliant, and she just, she thinks outside of the box, which a lot of defense attorneys, especially ones that do post-conviction work, really have to kind of do that, because you're trying to really dig deep and kind of look beyond facially what's in front of you. So Susan's amazing. And I didn't know that Grisham was on board for the Jamie Snow thing, but I was down watching the case that we're covering, and I'm long overdue for the second episode of Barton and McNeil. That case is another Illinois wrongful conviction, same county as Jamie Snow. But I went down to Illinois State University and listened to the appellate arguments for both Jamie and Bart, which they held on the same day at Illinois State. And obviously, as you know, at this point, Jamie's that particular that particular motion was denied by the appellate court there. And I think Jamie's was a petition, a post-conviction petition as well. And that's what Bart's was. So, but yeah, I'd like to see, I mean, Jamie Snow's case is crazy, but so is Barton McNeil's, and Barton, I'm going to start trying to shed a lot more light on that, because Jamie's is crazy and Bart's is equally crazy. And I think that they're both factually innocent. So keep your eyes out for that. All right, let me pull this guy up here. And thank you, by the way, Ellen.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Oh, and I got to get better at this. If you're new to the channel, please remember to share, like, subscribe, especially the subscribe part. And if you're replay later, just leave a comment. But I'm going to try to say that more often. It seems like people forget to subscribe. It's good to give you all reminders, and it's free. It's free to do.
And to like, you just have to minimize your little chat for just a second. Click that thumbs up, and then
Did you
back.
see that they've changed the interface back here a little bit?
I thought it looked different.
It's different.
Like there's a little arrow by my camera. I was like, wait a minute. I just want to turn that thing off.
It scares me. I'm scared. I don't like when I finally get some tech down. I don't like when they change it.
Nah.
We're old.
We're old.
Yeah, I'm old. I'm very set in my ways. I'm very set in
you
my
know, because like Marita Finn says, why does Bukkake look like a baby face? I felt like he looks different. Why does he look so different?
He looks like he gained some weight.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looked like he gained probably 10, 15 pounds in his face. You can see it in his neck. The neck is always the way to tell. I can see it. He's developing a waddle.
Cowlick. He's got that hair out of place at the top there.
I'm not sweating his hair being out of place. I mean, that happens when you use hair jelly.
I mean, he's got short hair. He shouldn't have that hair coming down his forehead.
Yeah, the pleasing aroma is half the point. You know what I mean? Of the hair jelly. All right. Ready to go?
Ready to go.
Let's rock and roll.
Also do the same with the iPad.
Was there any concerns about communications on the iPad?
Now, bloop back.
No, there was not.
Did you explain to her whose iPad it was?
Okay,
wait,
well, this is
sounds
still
like cross-examination.
No, there was not.
This is the end of the direct.
Who did you tell her?
Just
who did you
kinda-
tell her was the user of the iPad?
Okay.
I told her that based on my understanding, it was the 6-year-old juvenile.
And did you tell her did you tell her anything further about the use of the iPad and why you were looking at it?
No, I did not.
1.25, babe.
One moment, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Felt so slow. I wanted to.
There we go.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
There we go.
Cross.
All right, we're right into the
Good afternoon,
cross-examination.
sir.
There's Larry Tipton.
For direct examination, you described your interaction with Diane Walshe.
Yes, sir.
And so you were involved in interviewing Diana Walsh along with the 6-year-old son.
Portions of it, yes.
You say portions of it. What portions?
The 6-year-old was not present during the entire interview with Diana.
But you were present for the entire interview with Diana Walsh.
Diana's a grandmom, for anyone
You
not
didn't have
here.
any involvement in the interview of Mr. Walsh on January 5th.
No, not the official interview. I just introduced myself and met him. Brief communication verbally, not a formal interview.
Did you arrive at the home at the same time with the other officers who eventually did conduct an interview with Mr. Walsh on January 5th?
If I'm not mistaken, we all arrived together. Yes, sir.
And did
So
you
were sitting-
recently
is it fair to
lie
say that
to an entire
during
jury?
these 2 different interviews, you were in different rooms?
Yes, we were separated. The 2 rooms are separated by the stairwell or staircase and a wall, I believe, in the home. That's right in the middle of the building. But there's a open space for the front and the rear through the kitchen.
It's fair to say then that there were times during these interviews that you could hear people asking Mr.
Bob,
Walsh
look at the
questions,
comment.
correct?
To be
Yes,
accurate,
yeah.
because we were having our own conversation, I merely heard voices. I could not hear the specifics of their conversation or who was speaking.
So you don't know shit.
And it's, in entirely accurate, isn't it, to say that the entire time that you talked to Brian Walshe, that Mr. Walshe,
It's true,
Brian,
Janet.
he was never
Multitasking.
correct?
With that conversation, sir? No, he was not.
So when you were asked all these questions on direct examination, and you were describing the behaviors of Diane Walshe as you interpreted them, it's fair to say that Mr. Walshe had nothing to do with any of those behaviors of Diane Walshe that you were upset with.
No.
Are you asking if he was influencing her behavior?
Yeah.
I could not suggest that, no.
And
I'd hope
I mean,
not.
she is the grandmother of this young, the 6-year-old that you were also talking to. Right?
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
And this 6-year-old was telling you in his own words what he remembered about seeing his mother, correct?
Yes, the information of his recollection was in his own words.
And when you were asked questions on direct examination about the iPad fixing it, you used the word manipulation, right?
That is a term I use, yes.
Okay. You don't have any specific knowledge about what you characterized as the manipulation of the iPad.
Yeah, he
The
does.
knowledge I have is that I was told she fixed the device for him. Diana said that the button was broken. Those types of manipulations of the device, in my training experience, would be logged within the database on the device.
But based on that information that you just told the court,
Why didn't you get a
when
warrant?
Brian Walshe mentioned a button, what button was it?
She didn't specify.
Okay. And it's fair to say that you didn't make any effort to see if the button was now working or whatever button she was referring to was working, correct?
Correct, I did not see, no.
So you really don't know, do you, at the time, that the iPad was in fact not working, or if it just didn't come on? You really don't know. You're just going on the fact that Diane Walshe said something about a button wasn't working.
And the kid.
It was the child's information that he passed along to us and what Diana shared as well.
And the only question that you testified to, that you asked Diana Walshe, that you asked the 6-year-old, was something to the effect, do you know where your mother is, or do you know where your mother went? That was when Diane Walshe interjected and made a comment, correct?
That specific question, she interrupted my full question, so I could not ask the full question. The question was interrupted.
Now, it's fair to say that you haven't been trained in interviewing
Nope.
young juvenile children, correct?
I don't have specific training for young juvenile children, but I am trained in interviews and interrogations.
Right,
Yeah,
but
we
you
know,
would agree
buddy.
that there are people that are trained specifically to interview young children, correct?
I am aware that there are specialists that conduct SANE interviews.
And you are aware of the fact that eventually on January 5th, there was an agreement to have the young child, the 6-year-old, interviewed by a trained specialist, correct?
I'm not certain of the date when the agreement happened, but I am aware that there was an agreement to do something like that along those lines.
And that would be done by someone in Norfolk, correct? In fact, I think the office that they use is in Norfolk, correct? Do you know that?
I am not aware of the location outside of Foxborough, but I could be wrong.
And you would agree, wouldn't you, that in your experience, it's not unusual, is it, for a parent or a grandparent to protect their child or grandchild from certain questions that they think may upset them?
No, I wouldn't say that it's unusual that a child or a parent or a grandparent would do something like that. No.
All right. If I understand your direct examination and some of your questions, and please correct me if I'm wrong. You did or you did not have any conversation with Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beal regarding any supposed agreement?
I don't have a memory of talking to Lynn Beal on the phone about the agreement.
On the
And it's
phone.
fair to say that you've been asked by the Commonwealth
Sleazy,
in this
slimy
case to
guy.
search your records, your emails, whatever, for any such evidence of communicating with Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beal regarding this agreement.
I have been asked, yes.
And you conducted that search and you found nothing.
Ooh.
Conversations over the phone. I don't have a conversation over the phone specifically in reference to the agreement.
So
But the email is produced. I'm CC'd on it.
Right, but you don't know
What?
about the content of any conversation between Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beeler and Attorney Tracy Minor regarding that agreement.
I do not know that, no.
And it's fair to say that you never attempted to contact Lynn Beeler to make sure that you understood what the parameters were of any agreement, did you?
I did not contact Lynn Beeland. The email spoke for itself.
Well, you've testified here today that, for instance, you just answered a question on direct examination, that the iPad had no limitations put on, like the search of the iPhone, correct?
I don't think so.
Rephrase the question.
Were there any limitations put on any search of the iPad?
The search limitations were included in the email, and it referenced all devices that we were going to get on consent.
Now, you've also told us that your discussions with Attorney Tracy Minor involved discussing and seizing cell phones, correct?
Yes, there were 2 cell phones, as I mentioned prior, and the iPad that we were aware of.
And regarding the 2 cell phones, we can
There was
all
a
agree that
question.
one of them was purportedly Mr. Walsh's personal cell phone, and the other cell phone was the one in the Volvo that was attributed to the young 6-year-old, correct?
Yes, sir.
There is no reference in the email that you've referred to today to a second cell phone, is there?
I'd have to take a look at the email, but my understanding through our communications, myself and Tracy Minor, were for 2 cell phones and the 6-year-old's iPad.
Well, I understand that's your memory. I'm asking you that with regards to the email that's been introduced into evidence, there's no reference to a second cell phone, is there?
I mean, at this point, how much do you think Buchanan hates being caught in lies?
I mean,
It's got to get old, man.
you'd think.
It's got to get old.
I mean, what I'd like to what I'm waiting to see is whether they delve into some of his credibility issues at this moment. We'll have to see.
Yeah. In Deidre, it says you're lost. If you're getting in a little bit late, again, this is a suppression hearing. The basis of the suppression is twofold, but kind of the main thrust is the fact that Brian Walshe and his attorney, his former attorney, had consented to a very tailored, limited search of his cell phone. Okay. And it was reduced to writing. And what happened with the
Buchanan's claiming he misunderstood.
right. Well, so that's kind of what they're saying. So they end up going beyond the scope of that consent search, they being law enforcement. That is when they find all these very inculpatory seeming Google searches regarding how to get rid of a body, formaldehyde, all that shit, all the crazy things that he's Googling, because we're assuming it's not his 6-year-old that's doing it. And he's the only one who had access to the iPad at that time frame. So that is what this suppression motion is born from. And the problem for the cops and the prosecution is if this thing is granted, all the evidence found after the fact, because what they did is they used what they found from the illegal search in all of the subsequent search warrant affidavits that they applied for, all of them. So all of that information that was poisonous fruit, they used moving forward. So you can see where that's a problem, right? So that's kind of where we're at. And again, we've got Yuri Buhkenik of Karen Reed infamy on the stand in our cross-examination right now.
And Camilla did a super for family hugs for Meg. We all want to get a second round of family. Isn't Meg Spitfire?
Oh, Megan.
Or
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's who she means. So we sent all healing vibes, family hugs for Meg from all. So
Yeah, 100%. And Meg and I actually meant to send you an email last night, but I do really want you to know how we're behind you and we're thinking of you, and we really are sending all the healing vibes because you are a cherished member of our community and we love you, and everything's going to be fine. All right, let's go.
Yes, based on my reviewing of that email content, there's no reference of a second phone.
So you misunderstood that one too, huh?
A lot of
There's
misunderstanding.
no reference to anything other than
Cell phones.
Brian Walsh's cell phone in that email.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again, please?
There's no reference to any other cell phone other than Brian Walsh's cell phone in that email agreement.
It talks about the 6-year-old's iPad.
Right, but there's no reference to a second cell phone or any other cell phone in that email agreement.
That is correct.
And in fact, there's certainly nothing about all of the minor children's cell phones.
That's correct.
There's reference in that email to one iPad, correct?
Yes.
And there's no reference to more than one iPad in that email, is there?
Come on, buddy. No, just say no.
Just the 6-year-old's iPad.
Yes, Laura. Absolutely.
Sergeant, it's fair to say that you wrote a report where you were discussing
Sometimes
this
I do, sometimes I don't.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And did you review that report before you testified here today on direct examination?
I did review it, yes.
And it's fair to say that in that report, you make reference to an agreement that encompassed, quote, his cell phones in regard to Brian Walshe. And you used those cell phones, plural, correct? In your report.
I believe that's right, if you're not mistaken.
You have that report with you?
You're
I
not.
don't have it here with me now.
And if you need to refresh your memory, just tell us. But you also, in that report, make specific reference to the agreement encompassed his minor children's, plural, cell phones, correct?
I'd have to take a look at the report, sir.
Yeah, why don't you do that,
That's right.
Buchanan?
May I approach you?
Yes.
Thanks, just south of history.
Thank you, sir.
I'd ask you to repeat that.
Well, at least little Miss Red Velvet, she promises never to use technology again.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. I didn't realize I had her thing up there for like 20 minutes, her comment. Because I gently scolded her.
He takes it back.
No. The technicality, you know how I am with the technicality. I take back the fact that I had the comment up on the screen for so long. Because it did seem punitive, and it wasn't meant to be.
Yes, it does.
To refresh your memory that, in fact, you make reference to cell phones plural when it comes to Mr. Walsh's cell phone.
Yes, it does.
Does it refresh your memory that, in fact, you made reference to all the children's cell phones?
Yes.
Does it refresh your memory that it referred to the children's iPads?
Yes.
Is it also fair to say that at the end of that report, you make specific reference that, quote, the agreement is attached to this report?
Yes, sir.
And the agreement we're talking about is what's already been in this step, right?
Larry,
correct.
go back to your mic, bro.
It's fair to say that that agreement that was introduced in the evidence does not refer to multiple cell phones, multiple iPads, correct?
That is correct, sir.
And in fact, you said on direct examination that you had some conversation with Fanning, and Fanning then arranged to pick up the devices, correct?
That's correct.
Are you aware of the fact that Fanning has written a report about what he went to pick up?
I am not aware now.
Ooh, well,
About what he had gone to pick up and what in fact he did pick up?
No, I never spoke to exactly what he picked up.
So you don't know that when Fanning went to Mr. Walsh's house to pick up the devices pursuant to the agreement, he only knew to pick up one cell phone and one item, correct? Or do you know?
I don't know what he actually picked up. I communicated 2 cell phones and an iPad.
And my question is, though, that you apparently don't know that based on the conversation he had with you at the command post, that he thought he was only supposed to pick up one cell phone and one iPad. You don't know that, do you?
I never questioned Lieutenant Fanning on what he picked up.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
if Fanning's not testifying, have him read it.
22. Marked and admitted as Exhibit 22.
Thank you so much, Krista.
Krista says, just wanted to say thank you and that you guys are amazing, informative, fun,
Specifically,
adorable
Sergeant,
couple.
In that report that now is Exhibit 22, you specifically say the agreement was put into writing by Norfolk District Attorney's First Assistant Lynn Veland, correct?
Yes, I do.
The agreement, you're referring to the email that's been introduced into evidence, correct?
That is correct.
I really wish he'd move on. Bob's doing a little dance. He's in a better mood. He's dancing. He's dancing.
There's nothing in the agreement that uses the phrase marital privilege. Is there?
No, sir.
There's nothing in your conversations that you put in your report that was to document this agreement. There's no reference to marital privilege, is there?
I'm sorry. There was two things you asked about. There was no mention of marital privilege outside of the statement about excluding communications between Anna and Brian Walshe.
And the phrase marital privilege does not appear in your report that's been introduced as Exhibit 22.
No,
And it doesn't appear in the quote
hot
agreement
down
email
here.
that's been introduced as evidence.
that statement does not appear now.
It's really hot down here in this
And the
moment.
only thing
in the
that's
basement?
referenced, the subject matter that's
Just
referenced
me, I guess.
in the email agreement is quote communications.
That's the only subject matter that needed to be carved out of the full extraction.
That wasn't my question. My question was the only subject matter that is referenced in the agreement is communications.
Yes, sir.
Well, spoilers, gray space. But I'm excited. You know, here's the fucked up thing about this. It's like you have a defendant like Karen Reed, and you're finding yourself rooting for the cops to have fucked up because it's what we need to have happen in order for a jury to be able to see that, number one, this woman is innocent, and number two, that we can't trust their work. But then when you have a defendant like Brian Walshe, it feels icky to be rooting for these guys to have fucked up, because the thought of that guy walking is horrifying.
I'm sure no one's rooting for them to have fucked up.
I mean, yeah, it's like the bleed over from Karen's case to this makes it such that you can't help but root against them because we know they suck. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's almost difficult to say, oh man, I'm hoping against hope they didn't fuck this up.
Well, no, but I think we're hoping against hope that despite them fucking up, there's something the judge can latch on to, you know, that their fuck up doesn't get rid of all of the evidence. I mean, it's clear they fucked up.
Yeah, they fucked up. Oh, yeah. All right.
And it's clear that they're like, you know what, we're gonna do now and deal with the consequences later.
Hey,
That's what it seems like.
I've seen it. When did this hearing actually take place? Was it about a month ago? If anybody in chat can let me know, because it's a little worrisome that the judge hasn't ruled yet. And worrisome as to the, like, is she really like preparing a very thorough order because she's going to do something very dramatic? Or is she really just digging deep to try to find a way?
Right. I mean, it
to be able
could
to
go
hang her
either
hat
way.
on something?
I
Yeah.
think it could go either way. She could be writing a very detailed order because she's dismissing a lot of evidence. And I would assume that once evidence gets suppressed, that you're going to also have a motion to quash the arrest, that there was no probable cause to arrest without any of that stuff. But she could also be finding something and rationalizing why she's leaving it in and preparing a very detailed order for that. I think that in this scenario, I mean, I would typically agree. I think I said something the other day, like, why hasn't the judge, ruled on this yet? But I think in this situation, when it's clear that they did fuck up, that would take a long, extensive order to come up with a way to keep this evidence in. But you've got the same thing if she's going to toss evidence out. So I don't think we can tell from it.
Yeah, I know. But ultimately, are we willing as a society to pay the price of allowing potentially a guy like this, who by all accounts, again,
Yes.
without having trial, walk
Yes, we
in
have
order
to.
to expose bad police work and constitutional violations? And
It's
Allie's
not a
got the
question.
answer. It is yes, but
And
it's
it's not a
hard for
question because there's an
people.
exclusionary rule.
I
That is
understand. You're preaching to the choir, girl.
Right.
I mean, I know that. Obviously, again, if you listen to Gacy season part 1, I go into great detail about it. But it's hard though. It's a bitter pill to swallow. It just is. It just is. But
Well,
I mean, for the greater good, it's mandatory. Oh, and Little Miss, family hug. That's a big one. It's a big one for you, Little
Gray
Miss.
Space says we need to stand by because we wait till we hear about
I
fanny
know.
reports.
I know. I know. All right, let's keep rolling. I'm gonna bloop back so we're.
Do you know, Sergeant? Do you know
Thanks, JoJo.
when Mr. Walsh first talked to Tracy Vine, his attorney,
Thanks,
about the
Chris.
request to search his phone?
I have no idea.
And do you know, Sergeant Buchanan, when Attorney Tracy Minor and Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beelan first began discussing the request to search Mr. Walsh's phone?
I would strictly be speculating when they first began. My only knowledge is to the email being sent from Lynn.
Have you talked to Assistant District Attorney, now retired, Lynn Beelan, regarding this agreement prior to this hearing?
I have no memory of talking to her about this agreement.
It's not what he asked.
So the government, the Commonwealth, has not asked you to go talk to retired Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beelan and say, what did you and Attorney Tracy Minor agree to? You haven't been asked to do that.
No, sir.
Now, it's fair to say that there are consent to search forms used routinely by the Mass State Police, correct?
Yes, sir.
And those consent to search forms, they require information to be entered on the form. It includes the person giving consent and the officer taking the consent, correct?
Yes, it is.
And they also include an area where you describe what is going to be searched, correct?
There's detailed explanation on the forms, yes.
And it's signed and dated by the person giving consent and a witness, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the reason for this is to make sure that people understand what consent was given, that it was given voluntarily, and what the parameters of any consent were, correct?
That is the purpose behind us reading those consent forms to the individuals we're getting the consent from.
And you didn't use one in this case.
No, sir.
And it's fair to say that you certainly had an opportunity to use one because you were at the home on January 5th, of 2023, prior to any consent being given and any agreement being made, correct?
I was at the home at that point. I did not ask for consent on the 5th.
But yeah, moving on.
You didn't even talk to
Okay.
the guy on the 5th. We get it.
I'm going to show you a document, and it's not from this case. But is it fair to say that that is an accurate representation of the consent to search form that's used by the Mass State Police?
Although it does appear as a form that's generated by the state police, that's not the form we use. So I can't represent that this is what we would have used.
What is different from that form you're looking at now and the form that you say would be used by the Mass State Police?
Well, there's a lot of different characteristics of the form itself, just the way it appears, the way it's presented, the bottom portion as well. It's just slightly different.
Can I ask you then, Sergeant Buchanan, is it fair to say that that form, substantive, whatever form you're referring to, consent to search form,
Substantively.
would have included exactly what that form's asking for? Name of the person giving consent, a witness to sign on it, informing the person of their right to refuse consent, but also listing what and describing what is to be searched.
I would agree with you, yes.
So, with that caveat, I would move it.
Your Honor, I object. If the council wants, I'm happy to get a copy of their form. They generate.
Why don't we do that? That's
Yeah,
the form that
there you
they
go.
actually might be using now as opposed to that form. There's no dispute with regard to the contents of the form. He didn't fight you on that. He agrees with you. It's in evidence. You don't need the form that he's not familiar with.
And I'll get a blank one and we'll stipulate for this.
That sounds terrific.
It
You didn't ask for, you asked for what, on what?
is.
Oh, previously?
I apologize, counsel. I have no memory of the mass report. I will make sure.
We can reach agreement on this, I'm sure.
Where you want to look, buddy? You want to look right here at the audience? You want to stick your face in the camera?
With regards to the
Chase.
agreement, there's nothing in the agreement email that has been produced as an exhibit. It references anything about search histories, correct?
No, that specific term is not in the email.
And there's nothing in the email about location data, correct?
That's correct.
And once again, the only subject matter that's referenced in that email agreement is quote communications, correct?
Yes, as what to be excluded, yes.
Well, when you say what to be excluded, it's just, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but this will be my last question on this particular subject.
Oh, okay.
The email agreement makes reference to what communications will be limited, and it makes specific reference to certain attorney-client conversations, communications, and communications between Mr. Walshe and Hannah Walshe, correct?
That is what to be limited during the search and analysis of the device's data.
It certainly doesn't say, does it? Anywhere in that agreement that the agreement is that everything that's downloaded can be reviewed and analyzed, correct? Doesn't say that in the agreement.
It does not specify that.
And it's important, isn't it? Just like
Yeah.
that form that you were talking about a moment ago, it's important, isn't it, to be very specific in any written agreement as to what the terms of the agreement are, right?
It's important to understand what is being done. Our verbal communications mentioned phone extractions. That means all of the data on the phone, and what was to be limited based on our verbal communication, then subsequently put into email form, was the communications between client and attorney and Mr. and Mrs. Walshe.
But that's the way you're interpreting the content of this email that you did not write and did not respond to. That's fair, isn't it?
For the latter portion, yes, I did not write this email, nor did I respond to it. But the verbal agreement on the phone with Attorney
Bullshit.
Minor was that we were doing a full system data extraction on the devices provided that were consented to.
That's your memory.
Yes, it is.
You say that, but it might be enough for the judge in good faith. Like, so their
I was thinking
argument is
about it.
that it was a full extraction and that the only limiting language that they saw were these things contained in this email between the retired DA and
Yeah,
his lawyer, you know? So, I mean, it's
but I
like,
know, like, so yesterday I know that I was like, maybe the judge could hang her hat on a good faith basis, good faith reliance. But the more I think about it, they don't have anything that ever says, I mean, if you've got consent, who gave you consent? No one gave you consent. And it's on him. I'm starting to be of the mindset that with this stuff, the judge would be hard pressed to say it was reasonable for him to think that that meant he could do a full extraction, because he said, what I want to do is a full extraction.
right.
No one ever consented to it. And I think that's going to be the issue, reasonableness included, that I don't think a judge should be able to find that interpretation of his reasonable, unless, of course, at some point there was written consent, or, that he could search, that they could do a full extraction, that there were no limitations. And everything that's gone into evidence so far that they've tried to make it stretch into that was like, oh, Mr. Walsh said, go ahead, look at my phone, it's all right there, when he's talking about looking at a specific application. Or when he says, go ahead, look at my phone, look, she sent me text and pictures. That's not saying go ahead, look at my phone and download and extract every single solitary thing and have free reign. It's just not. So,
Yeah, and I mean, in the shadows of Riley, it's a hard argument for the prosecution to make, because Riley was just, it's in Riley is it Supreme Court, Riley v. California's Supreme Court case, wherein they really, it was kind of the watershed case in terms of phone data and our privacy interests in it, and what's required by law enforcement in terms of being able to access our data and our devices. And Riley, it's a clear, bright line. I mean, they got to get a fucking warrant. So in that sense, you're right. No, because if there is no, I'm allowing you to extract my shit, go ahead, extract it. Because we heard yesterday the testimony from 2 cops prior, wherein he's saying, oh, when he's talking to Walsh, and Walsh is like, well, like, I need my phone. I have to be able to work. And the guy's like, oh, like, I got a guy who I'm assuming is Guarino, or the likes of Guarino. He's like, he'll come over. It'll be real quick. We're basically just making a copy of it, but I don't believe that Walsh consented at that point.
He said he wasn't doing anything until he talked to his lawyer.
Exactly.
He talked about things he didn't want them to have access to. And those officers all said the only thing they talked to him about was extracting communications.
Right.
So, and then Atheist Ant says these cops are the shark squad because they do crappy job. They do a crappy job gathering evidence. They surely do. They surely do.
Indeed, they do.
We were doing a full system data extraction on the devices provided that were consented to.
That's your memory.
Yes, it is.
That's what you wanted to do. It doesn't mean anyone consented to it. Come on.
Where did you get that
Your
understanding?
Is that the agreement also included all of Mr. Walsh's cell phones, all of the children's cell phones, and all of the children's iPads?
So your memory.
My memory was that the devices I knew about was Mr. Walsh's cell phone that was missing, the children's cell phone that was in Mr. Walsh's vehicle, and the iPad referenced to by the 6-year-old, which was fixed by Anna. That's why the communication with Tracy Minor was about 2 cell phones with the iPad thrown in on top of those 2 devices.
Sergeant Buchanan, just on that particular answer the question. The second sentence in your report that you wrote that stated January 6, 2023, you wrote specifically, during numerous phone conversations, we established a verbal agreement for the digital evidence extraction of devices belonging to and being used by Brian Walshe and his juvenile children to include Thomas Walshe, 6-year-old, Thomas Walshe's 6-year-old. Those include his cell phones and his minor children's cell phones and tablets. Correct?
If that's verbatim from my report, that is what's written.
So my question that I asked you just a moment ago was, your memory of the agreement was it involved all of those devices, not just the two that we're talking about.
My conversation with Attorney Minor was for the 2 cell phones I knew existed and were referenced.
So why did you put all those other devices in your report that you wrote specifically about the agreement?
I don't understand.
Why did you refer to all of those devices in the one single report that you wrote and refer to it as the agreement? Why did you include all of the devices?
Because there was
Ooh,
knowledge
that's
of other
interesting,
devices
KP.
existing. So there was Diana's statement that she purchased cell phones for all the children,
Okay,
and iPads and AirTags, etc. So there were other electronic devices that could have come into play.
you would agree, wouldn't you, Sergeant Buchanan, that there is some real ambiguity between what you stated as the content of the agreement in your report and that email that has been introduced to evidence?
I don't
Yes.
think it's ambiguous, no.
Oh, come on. Now you just seem like an asshole.
And this
Were
isn't in
you,
front of a jury,
Present
you know?
at the home, Mr. Walsh's home on,
He can't admit
January
ambiguity
6th,
because then it's not
2023.
reasonable.
Right.
I don't remember. I don't remember going to the home. I might have. I don't remember going to the home. I know I was at the command post. There was other missions I was conducting. I don't have a specific
question.
memory of being at the house. But if you have a specific question about maybe what transpired, I could give you an answer.
Because English is my second language.
do you know that there were
Sure.
numerous searches conducted at the house
Get it
on
right.
January 6th?
I know that the CERT team and the dive team conducted searches around the home. I was not present for those searches. I was at the command post.
He does a lot less of this.
And you weren't there because you were in DC on January 7th.
That's correct. Early morning, January 7th, I left for DC.
Just so I'm following along, the date that you were using was 1/6.
Yes, for when searches were conducted.
Right, but he left on 1/7.
Right, he's
He
not.
could have been there, but he's at the outpost. I just want to make sure I'm trying to follow along with what the evidence is and that you're not missing up the dates. That's why I'm asking.
I could sing up the dates, I'll be.
I don't know.
But
I'll let you go.
let
I'm
me just say,
giving you the opportunity to correct it if I've got something wrong. But I've raised it.
I
And maybe
appreciate-
I'm the one that has it wrong.
when did you leave for DC on January 7th?
Early morning hours. I don't know the exact time of the flight. Could have been 8, 9 a.m. But I never responded to Cohasset. I went from my
So you were not at the home on January 7th,
No, sir, I was not.
and you're not sure if you were at the home on January 6th.
I do not have a specific memory of being there. I might have.
Why does this shit keep
Yeah.
freezing up?
But we can all agree you were there on January 5th.
Yes, sir.
And
Were
didn't.
you there on January 8th?
No, I was not.
Why does this keep freezing up? Shit, it's not even live.
It's his face doing it.
And did you negotiate, as you call it, the agreement? Did you negotiate the dates that are involved?
Ugh, I'm gonna refresh it.
Yeah, do that. Because I was like, what's happening? Is he
It's
pausing
alright.
now?
The person wants us to exclude would be excluded.
Hold on. Let me refresh this shit. 3/12/17. Remember that.
What we call Greg Lawrence.
You leapy?
I don't know why.
You
Broken.
I slept in a little bit, but I did have trouble falling asleep last night.
Did
It was so hot.
still doing it? Maybe it's the vid because it's weird. The time's still running.
The person wants us to exclude would be excluded. Brian Walshe was eager to help us find Anna. The same sentiment was felt by me from Tracy Minor. She was trying to help while conducting her responsibilities as a defense attorney. So that was my understanding based on our conversation.
But was it your understanding that regardless of the communications that are referenced in there, attorney-client communications and communications between Mr. Walshe and Anna Walshe, that in fact there was a temporal limit placed on any search of the devices?
Can you rephrase that question, please? The temporal limit, I just want to make sure I understand correctly.
That in fact there was a date of 12/25/2022 that the search parameter would begin, and there was an ending date of January 6, 2023 of the search parameter when the search would end. Are you aware of that?
I am aware of the date that we couldn't go back past, and that was the 25th. So we couldn't search for communications between client and attorney before the 25th, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Walsh's communications.
And I guess what I heard you say was that it wasn't you that suggested 12/25, correct?
Right. I wouldn't have a reason to pick a date. That date, other than being Christmas, it had no significance to me.
And it wasn't you who picked the date of January 6th, 2023.
I believe it was present. So the term used was present.
I'll be right back.
Gio. It's the tubes, the little glitchies.
On direct examination, you used the word documentation in the context of what Attorney Tracy Minor asked for. You remember that?
Yes.
And was it documentation regarding what the agreement was?
Thanks, Amanda.
She just wanted to put it in writing, so we needed to document what the specifics were.
And was it also documentation about what, in fact, searches were conducted and how they were conducted?
Thanks, Scott.
No, we didn't discuss the details of the searches. She just wanted specific things excluded from the analysis and the searching of the data from those devices. And that is what was documented by First Assistant Limbulan, and she agreed to it.
That's all I have, Judge. Thank you, sir.
Read the round.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant, what memory do you have of Attorney Minor mentioning marital privilege in your conversation?
No memory whatsoever.
The same that was mentioned, where does the district attorney's office and the state police do those forensic examinations of children?
To the best of my knowledge, at the NAC in Foxborough, if I'm not mistaken.
And do you have any certifications in cell phone analysis?
I do.
And what certifications do you have?
I have a Celebrate basic course. It's a week-long course with certification.
So when you say the term digital evidence extraction, what significance does that have as far as celebrating your understanding?
It's a full file system download, basically a copy of what the device contains for data and information on it that's then transferred onto a processing computer with an exact copy. Then Celebrate parses out certain information that's either labeled or carved out if it has been deleted and no longer assigned a value that is of significance.
Did Attorney Minor request a consent of no restore?
No, she did not.
Recross. The witness may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yuri's done.
Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall provide in the matter now and here to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God and remains in health. Please have a seat. Just keep your voice up nice and loud.
And you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant John Fanning, Fanning.
And Lieutenant, where do you work?
I work for the Massachusetts State Police assigned to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office.
How long have you been with the Massachusetts State Police?
20 years next month.
And how long have you been assigned to the District Attorney's Office?
13 years.
And how long have you been a lieutenant?
Since December of 21.
Lieutenant, I'd like to ask you some questions concerning January 6th, 2023. That day, what was your involvement into the investigation to the disappearance of Anna Walshe?
I had responded to the command post in Cohasset behind Stop and Shop off of Route 3A.
And at some point that day, did you leave to retrieve any digital devices?
I did.
Where were you going to get those devices?
The Walsh resident at 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway.
And how did you know that you were able to go to that location to get those devices?
I initially spoke to Sergeant Buchanan, and then I spoke with Attorney Tracy Minor.
When did you speak to Attorney Minor, if you remember?
It would have been just before I left to go there. I'd say sometime in the 4 p.m. hour.
And how did you contact Attorney Minor?
By phone.
And can you tell us about the conversation you had with Attorney Minor?
Yes, I introduced myself. I hadn't met her previously, so I made a brief introduction. Told her that I had spoken to Sergeant Buchanan, that he was out of pocket because he was preparing for a trip to Washington, D.C., and that I'd be handling communications while he was gone. It was a cordial conversation. She was very cooperative. I explained that she had had a previous conversation with Sergeant Buchanan and a email communication with First Assistant Lynn Beeland. I said, I'd like to go get those devices as soon as possible. She agreed. She said that Brian was home and that I could head over there. We also had a brief discussion about why the timeline of the Walsh oldest child, that he had stated that Anna had touched the device and fixed it for him. That was really important to us because we were trying to hone in on surveillance.
And so what did you tell Attorney Minor about that device? Is that what you said to her?
Yes, we had a conversation about the importance of narrowing down our search timeline for vehicles potentially coming to and from that residence.
Now, why did you want to go get those right now, as you just said?
Well, we were trying to find Anna Walsh. It was important that we got those devices. It was my understanding from other investigators that Anna used different devices. That was according to Brian, that Anna had utilized multiple devices. Brian had stated to investigators in previous interviews that Anna would use his phone from time to time. She had used it for Uber and Lyft. And then obviously the oldest Walsh's device was important because of this account from the oldest Walsh about.
He had a real hair wall going there. Hair wall.
I can't have the headphones and the hair. Okay, that should work. So this is the first time we're seeing Fanning. That he never testified in any Karen Reed's trials, or he did?
I think he testified in one.
I don't recognize his
Season one.
face.
Look at him. He's got another jerk face.
Yeah, we've got
fixing his iPad prior to her leaving.
So,
huh?
I'm gonna text you. It's a family issue.
Oh God.
Better not let
you
my
have this conversation with Attorney Minor. About how long do you think the conversation was?
5 or so minutes.
And after the conversation, where did you go?
I went to the Walsh residence.
When you arrived at the Walsh residence, who was there?
Brian Walsh.
Was anyone else home at the time?
No, not that I remember. I didn't see anyone else.
And what happened when you got to the Walsh residence? What can you just tell us what your interaction with Mr. Walsh when you got there?
Yes, I pulled in, went up to the front door, knocked. I was encountered by Mr. Walsh. I introduced myself. I had not met him previously. He invited me in. I stepped off to the left, which would have been in the kitchen area, dining area, just to my immediate left. I said, I just spoke with Attorney Minor. Did you know that I was coming? He said, yes. I said, I'm here to retrieve these devices.
And what was his demeanor like when you were speaking with him that night on January 6th?
Very cooperative, cordial, helpful.
And so you said that you were there. What devices did you think you were going there to retrieve?
His cell phone and his son's iPad mini.
And so you told him that did you tell him what devices you were looking for when you arrived?
Yes.
And so what happened after you told him about the devices you were looking for?
He went off to my left, past the kitchen into kind of a living room area. There's also a desk in that area, and very quickly came back with the iPad mini that he said was his oldest son's.
And did he produce anything else besides the iPad mini at this point in time?
He gave me his cell phone.
And after you got those two devices, what happens?
He then said that he wanted to go find another device that his kids access. I said, okay, he thought it would be helpful. At that time, he went to my right, which was into kind of an open, I don't know how to describe it, open room where the dog cage kennel was, and there was a flight of steps that went up to another room. He went out of view that way, and shortly thereafter returned with another iPad with a cracked screen.
And did he say anything when he gave you the second iPad?
He just said, my kids use this. It might be helpful to you.
What did you say after he gave you the second iPad?
We had just confirmed the passwords. He had told me the password to his cell phone, and he confirmed the passwords on the two other devices, as the kids predominantly use those, and I wrote them down.
And so after you received the passwords, what happened as far as your conversation with Mr. Walshe?
I told him we're going to try to return them as soon as possible. I appreciate him cooperating, and I left the residence.
And so once you left the residence, where did you immediately go to?
My vehicle.
And when you got into your vehicle, what did you do with any of the devices?
I put the two iPads on my passenger seat. I had Brian Walshe's phone in my hand. I checked the password that he gave me to unlock it. It would be normal for me in most situations to put the device into airplane mode to preserve data. In this case, I don't recall putting it into airplane mode because if Anna had tried to reach out, the device wouldn't work. I also went into the text app just to see the last communication with Anna Walsh, the time, which really is just like a timestamp. It could say today, yesterday, or it would go back in time with dates. Then I relocked the phone knowing that I had the correct password and put it back on top of the two iPads.
And once you did that, where did you go?
I went back to the command post.
And so when you got to the command post, Lieutenant, what did you do as far as handling it? Who did you give these devices to?
Trooper Connor Keefe.
Why'd you give them to Trooper Connor Keefe?
Trooper Keefe is one of our forensics examiners. So he was there waiting, and I was arranging for him to take them back to our Canton office for download.
Do you have an idea of when you gave these to Trooper Keefe?
It was immediately following coming back from the Walsh residence.
And so did you give Trooper Keefe any commands at this point in time as far as what to do with these devices?
I gave him the three devices kind of stacked up on top of one another with a piece of paper with the passwords. And I told him, you have consent to download the data and analyze the data of the phone from December 25th until the present.
And did you give him anything else besides those three devices and the piece of paper with the passwords?
No.
And on January 6th, did you have any further conversations with Attorney Minor?
I do not recall any conversations on the 6th.
So do you know when those devices were returned to Mr. Walsh?
The afternoon, approximately 1:30 on January 7th.
Now, later that afternoon, were any of the troopers assigned to your detective unit dispatched to the area of Swampscott?
We're talking January 7th.
January 7th, yes.
Yes, they were.
Okay. And to be clear, we're talking about Saturday, January 7th. Who was dispatched to that area of Swampscott?
At approximately 4 p.m., I dispatched Trooper Kukowski, Sergeant Panazelis, Trooper Gobranson, and Trooper Sullivan.
Where did you send Trooper Kukowski?
CVS in Swampscott.
Why did you send him to CVS in Swampscott?
Because Brian Walsh had told Trooper DeChico and Detective Schmidt that he had went there when he visited his mother.
And where did you send the other three troopers, Gobranson, Sullivan, and Pantazelis?
Whole Foods in Swampscott.
Why did you send them to Whole Foods in Swampscott?
Because the defendant said that he had went there when he went up to his mother's residence.
And so why are you sending troopers to these locations that the defendant said he was at?
To confirm if he went there.
And so that was done. Those troopers were dispatched on Saturday, January 7th at approximately what time?
Between 4 and 5 p.m.
And that time frame, when was it that you heard back from Trooper Kukowski about the CVS in Swampscott?
I'd say somewhere in the 6 to 7 p.m. range. I can't recall the exact time.
And what was it Trooper Kukowski able to confirm as far as the defendant entering the CVS in Swampscott?
He was not there.
And was Trooper Kukowski dispatched to another CVS at this point in time?
Yes.
Which one?
I don't recall exactly. That wasn't at my direction. That was something he did on his own, which would be normal for our investigators.
And did you receive knowledge from Trooper Kukowski if he had discovered the defendant on video of another CVS to confirm his timeline?
Yes, and he did not see Brian Walshe at the other CVS.
Now, going to Whole Foods, who was sent to Whole Foods?
Sergeant Panazelis and Troopers Sullivan and Gobranson.
And what were they able to discover as far as confirming the defendant's location at Whole Foods as he related to Trooper DeChico?
He did not go there either.
And about what time were they at Whole Foods to discover this?
Somewhere after 5 p.m. on the 7th.
Now, when were you ever notified about the contents of the devices that were given to Trooper Keefe on the 6th?
Around 6 p.m. on the 7th.
And who notified you as far as the contents of any of the devices?
Trooper Nick Guarino.
And who is Trooper Guarino in your detectives unit?
He's also a forensics examiner.
And how did he notify you?
He called me.
And what did he say when he called you?
He said, I found something in the search history. And that's interesting. I said, well, what was it? And it was numerous searches about dismembering a body, how to embalm a body, how to get rid of a body, numerous searches related to that, another search related to divorce.
And so after he notified you of that,
did you say, hey, asshole, you weren't
communicate
supposed to
you
look
and
at
other
that?
troopers what he had found?
Yes.
How so?
He sent an email.
And as far as analyzing the iPad mini, what was your understanding as further analyzation of the iPad mini at this point in time?
We were going to stop.
And what was going to be done as far as the iPad mini after stopping?
We were
The
going to,
data we're talking about.
yes, we had stopped, and we were going to obtain a search warrant to seize that device.
So to seize that device. Now, where did you believe the device was located on the evening of January 7th?
It was back at the home.
And so what was done as far as trying to obtain a search warrant for the home?
We started writing one on the evening of January 7th.
And was one obtained?
Yes,
When was that search warrant executed?
between 8 and 9 a.m. on January 8th.
Now, were you there when it was executed?
I was.
So when the search warrant was executed, who was home at the Walsh residence?
Brian Walshe, his mother Diane, the 3 children, and their dog.
And after the search warrant was initially served, did you have any further conversations with Attorney Minor?
I did. Once we secured the scene, I called Attorney Minor and notified her that we were executing a search warrant at the Walsh residence. She told me that she was headed there and she'd be there shortly.
And how long after that did it take for her to arrive?
I'd say 15 minutes or so.
And once she arrived, what happened did you have any further contact with Attorney Minor?
We spoke in the driveway. I handed her a copy of the search warrant, and I told her we're searching the residence. Do you have a place for the Walsh family to go? Which she replied she did. And we arranged for her and the Walshes to leave to go to Attorney Minor's house in Scituate.
Now, after that interaction with Attorney Minor, did you have any further interaction on Sunday, January 8th with Attorney Minor?
I did.
When was that?
When we went to arrest Brian Walshe
And where was that?
at her residence.
And what was the contact you had with Attorney Minor at this point in time?
She met us right out front. She actually came out before we got to the door. And I asked where Brian was. She said in the house. I said, we need to go talk to Brian right now. And she said, well, he's not going to say anything. I said, that's fine, but we need to find him right away. We walked right in. Dining room was right off to the left. Brian Walshe was standing there, and we placed him under arrest.
Now, Lieutenant, understanding you had the opportunity to have your communications with Trooper Guarino on the evening of Saturday, January 7th. Had you not had the conversations for Trooper Guarino on Saturday, January 7th, what would the State Police Detective Unit been doing to obtain a search warrant for the residence of Mr. Walsh that evening?
Had I not had that conversation with Trooper Guarino?
Yes.
At that point, the information came all at the same time, I would say. But the issue that we were having is we were, regardless of the search history, we were still misled by Brian Walshe in the information that he gave us. We spent time and resources going up to confirm his information. I think had we not known that information of the searches, we still would have written a search warrant for the house, less physiological fluid and instruments of the crime.
What information did you have as far as ransom emails at this point in time?
We had received an email, it was on the morning of the 7th, meaning we, Cohasset Police, from a Richard Walker requesting a ransom.
So all of this goes to what is termed inevitable discovery. This is them saying, well, if we didn't have that stuff, we still had all this other stuff we would have used to get a warrant. We just maybe wouldn't have been looking for bodily fluids. It would have been limited more to like a kidnapping or even missing persons. So that's what they're getting at there. And on this email thing, and maybe we're about to find out, but I was thinking yesterday, I'm like, wait, they have this fake email from a ransom person. Isn't that easy enough to track? Like, don't they know literally where it came from, who it was, all of that?
The Dick Walker email.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you would think they'd be able to track the IP address on that somehow.
I mean, yeah, they do it every day.
They do it all the time. It's a pretty good way to determine where the email was generated from.
I mean, if Brian Walshe is sending himself emails, they're figuring that out.
It seems to me, and ultimately, I think this is what the question boils down to, that what they're trying to argue in terms of what they would have been doing had he not had the conversation with Guarino about the Google searches is where are you at in time, right? Which was what you were just talking about. And it sounds to me that where they were at in time in terms of any kind of potential charge against Brian Walshe was limited to, the sending the cops on a wild goose chase charge.
But how do they, I'm sorry, I missed it because I was trying to text some mothers making arrangements. How do they know other than the chat, the search history that he's, how to deal with a dead body? How do they know that all of what he said was false, given that the son said, mom told me mom had her bag on her and said she was leaving to catch her cab?
Well, you were, I think, trying to deal with the family shit. So essentially what happens is that Walshe tells them when he goes to his mom's, either before or after, he goes to CVS out by his mom's, and then he goes to Whole Foods. So they then spend time and resources to go to both those locations in order to try to, I'm assuming, look at
verify
their surveillance video to see if he's there, check their records to see if there was any purchases made, using a card with his name on it. And they don't find anything. So it's like those two things where they're trying to send him off on this, or send the cops off on this.
So they did have some facts that he misled them, that he lied about his whereabouts, because there was no evidence that he was there on the cameras at those two locations.
Right. And
okay.
So there's that. But so let's assume that's all true. Does that rise to the level of being able to get a warrant to search the home, or I think that would probably get them to be able to get a full extraction on the devices?
At least limited to the time period. Yeah.
Is your nose running?
I'm like, now I'm cold. It's kind of crazy down here.
Can I give you a hug? I want to come give you a hug.
I don't know what's going on.
Do you want me to bring you a hoodie?
No, I'll be hot in about 2 seconds, so don't worry about it.
Poor love bug. So yeah, I mean, but I think that's what it's going to boil down to. Like, ultimately, that's the question. Had they had the information, they followed up on the CVS and the Whole Foods story by him. They come to find out that, at least on its face, neither of those businesses had any evidence that he was there at the time that he said he was there. So does that rise to enough probable cause in order for them to say, okay, well, this guy's lying about this shit, and they don't have anything on their, in their information in terms of surveillance video or, in their computers regarding any kind of purchases that may have been made. And we think that's enough to get us a warrant for his phone, because his phone will tell us whether or not, locationally speaking, whether or not he was at those two locations, you know? So, I mean, that could be enough. That could be enough. Because remember, like, always look at this under the
I mean, Dana Town
premise.
says there's like 4 CVS's and a 5
How many
mile.
Whole Foods can there be in the
No, there's
in
only
that
one
in
Whole
that
Foods.
area? I mean, there can't be that
In that
many.
town, unless it's a big town, you only getting one Whole Foods, right?
In one Whole Foods. Could get a shit ton of CVS's or Walgreens, but Whole
Yeah,
Foods,
multiple.
I don't know.
All right, they're saying the cops went to the wrong CVS. So
What about Whole Foods? They go to the wrong Whole Foods. Again, we're trying to tell you that the judge is going to be looking for anything to hang her hat on to not toss all this evidence.
doesn't sound like there's much here, though. It's getting.
I mean,
feel like it's
that
getting
might
worse.
be enough. I mean, they
Yeah, but what
subsequently
everyone's
charged
saying
him with
is,
that.
how do you rule? How do you decide that someone's lying to you when you don't check all the CVS's?
What about the Whole Foods?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
And that stating basically that he had Anna Walsh and was requesting a certain amount of money for her to be returned.
MB's got 2 Whole Foods.
And where was the last place Anna Walsh had been seen prior to her disappearance, to your knowledge, on the evening of January 7th?
Inside the home on January 1st.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Lieutenant, have you reviewed the transcripts of the interviews of Mr. Walsh conducted by Cohasset Police and Massachusetts State Police on January 4th, January 5th, January 7th?
I would say not directly the transcripts, but I have some understanding of them, sir.
So when you testified here just moments ago that Mr. Walsh, Brian Walsh, told one or more of those people that Anna Walsh had used his phone to contact Lyft or Uber. You remember saying that?
Yes, yes.
Where is that? Where is that in the interviews that I just described of Mr. Walsh?
I do believe I read it. I could be wrong for sure, but I do believe I read it. But I feel like that at least some type of communication was given to me at that time.
Well, was it but you're not suggesting it was a communication given to you by Mr. Brian Walsh. You're saying a communication by one of your colleagues or someone.
Correct. And it could have been one of the child's devices. I'm not sure how I testified previously if I specifically just said Brian's phone. But that is what I remember.
And when you testify that based on your conclusion or opinion that Mr. Walsh had misled people with regards to where he was, you're relying on what another trooper reported to you based on his review of what?
Video surveillance and also items that he stated he purchased they had asked about.
And have you looked at those, whatever you're referring to, the videos of, say, CVS and Whole Foods?
No.
And did you, before you relied on that information, did you talk to anybody at CVS or Whole Foods to discuss how their cameras are situated, what they view, what they don't view? Did you conduct anything like that?
Not personally, no.
And you are aware of the fact, aren't you, Lieutenant, that when Mr. Walsh was being asked questions about where he went and where he had been on certain days, that he was being asked those questions at his home, and there was distractions going on during those interviews. You're aware of that, correct?
I'm not I wasn't there.
Are you aware of the fact that on the recordings you could hear a dog barking repeatedly?
I didn't hear the recordings, but that would make sense.
And are you aware of the fact that Mr. Walsh specifically told the troopers when he was being, I'm sorry, strike that. Are you aware of the fact that when he was being asked questions on January 4th, he was actually talking and telling them that he was tired and hadn't had sleep and words to that effect?
No.
And in your
Did you read
experience as a state trooper investigating crimes,
For this.
it's fair to say, isn't it, that when someone is being asked questions about a missing spouse, let's say, the mother of their children, they can be under some stress, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, you also told us that you were the one that went out and retrieved devices on January 6th of 2023, correct?
Yes, sir.
And back in January 6th of 2023, you didn't write in a report about that, did you?
I did not.
And then you told us on direct examination today that you remember having a conversation with Attorney Tracy Minor on January 6th, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't write a report about that.
Correct.
And
Just so you know, fart jokes always get me. Always get me. I'll be 100
Always.
years old.
Boy,
Fart jokes will still make me laugh.
what you've done in the last week or so is you've written reports regarding those interactions, correct?
Yes, sir.
And one of the reports that you just wrote a couple of weeks ago, if not a week ago, you dated that the report date is January 6th of 2023,
to it.
correct?
Yes, when it happened.
No. The title of your report is Interview 2023-112-4-116, report date 01/06/2023.
Correct.
oh,
When
snap.
you enter those dates on these Massachusetts State Police reports in that particular space, that is supposed to indicate the date the report was written.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's a bit confusing. Sometimes it's the date I'm writing the
Oh.
report. Sometimes it's a newer system that we just had switched over to in the last few years. Sometimes it's the day I write it. Sometimes it's the date of the actual report.
Oh,
In fact,
But I usually reflect it in my first sentence, the actual time of the event.
Well, in fact, like I just said, you've written no less than 3 reports in the last week or so, reciting what you testified.
Yes.
And in 2 of the reports, you put report date, May 7th, 2025, right?
Right.
And in the other report, you put the date of May 15th, 2025.
Correct.
So whether the system changed over the years, the fact is the system
You
has been the
fucking
same
know
since
how
you
to
started
write-
drafting
that
these
pause
reports
this
years
shit.
later.
You
About
tell
what
him,
you recall
babe.
happened and didn't happen back on January.
you fucking know how to write a report. Oh, the system changed years ago. And yeah, it's supposed to be the date the report's written, but it's fairly new. So sometimes I get my ass confused. Are you suffering from perimenopause? Are you in a brain fog? Do you not know how to do your job all of a sudden? And you write these 3 reports. I'd like to know how many other times this motherfucker dated his report.
Language.
Dated his reports, the report date as of the date that he did the interview. Like he look at him with that face, trying to act like this is normal. And I
It's
really
just
hope
like,
that
it's just
somebody-
like Henrik said. It looks like he's smelling a fart.
yeah,
always,
smelling
like-
his own,
Yeah, it's like
smelling
what-
his own
what-
bullshit.
It's like, who farted? It's what our face looks like when the Nook slips one out. We're like, oh.
No, he's like, can they all smell my bullshit? Is it actually coming out of me?
Can
Wow.
Can you smell my gas through the screen?
Wait, but
Oh,
somebody
did you
said
see
that
the comment in chat, by the way?
about the
speaking of-
prosecutor.
No,
Oh.
about somebody
judge.
made a comment in chat like 2 days ago in one of our lives. They're like, is Allie? It's like, I love Allie, but is Allie like completely baked?
Why do people keep saying that?
I
Because
don't know.
I'm
It's because
vaping?
like I think it's the perimenopause brain. Like when you have like a little like gap. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I'm
even
not a
think it's the vape.
fan.
It's
I'm not a fan of the Mary Jane.
Yeah,
I
she
get-
doesn't like the weed.
get
I like the
dumb,
weed way more
stupid,
than she
tired. So it's never ever that.
does. It's never ever that.
And I
Not a-
get high and go on a. and
I'm
speak
like,
to
she
the
talks
public.
about how she has perimenopause brain like 5 times alive. So, I mean, context clues, y'all. Context clues.
But no, I feel like those are trolls that just like to fuck around.
No,
like
no,
they-
she was like, she loves you. She's like, I
Oh.
love Allie. Allie's awesome, but like,
I
is she
have been
baked?
trying to figure out why so many people ask if I'm high. And I'm like, it's gotta be the vape.
Hey, if you can operate at that kind of level intellectually when you're stoned as shit, I mean, all right,
More power
I'm
to
here
you.
for it. I'm here
But
for
what I
it.
was gonna say, someone also put in the comment, and I'm sorry I can't remember who it was right now, that this judge used to be a prosecutor of public corruption cases.
Yeah,
I
saw
feel
that.
like if anyone's smelling your bullshit there, buddy, hopefully it's the judge.
Hopefully.
I mean, or hopefully not. I
Well,
mean,
that's
it's
what I
like,
was saying earlier. This is like a terrible situation. This is like heads are gonna fucking roll.
right,
Heads
but
are gonna
we're
fucking
criminal
roll.
defense
if the case
attorneys. The
goes right.
Constitution's the Constitution.
Yes.
This is what we do.
Constitution always
So,
wins.
no
Always.
bones about it. If they did it, the evidence needs to be gone.
Gots to
Period.
go.
The end.
Gots to go.
Gots to go.
Gots to go.
Unless there's some other, unless she can, come up with something that really fits.
Yes.
Hang
Here,
your
the
hat on.
system changed over the years. The fact is, the system has been the same since you started drafting these reports years later about what you recall happened and didn't happen back on January 6th, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
one of
know
the
how
things
they
you just told us that when you went to the house on January 6th, that at some point
Oh,
Mr.
Fanny.
Walshe went up and got another item, a second item, correct?
Yes.
And you told us today on direct examination that he said something to the effect of, my son uses this, maybe it'll be helpful, correct?
Yes.
In the report that you just wrote in the last week or so, you didn't include anything in such a statement, did you?
I'm not sure.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Can I see which one you're referring to?
Okay, got it. Okay, and I'm just going to show you your report that just ask you questions about this as a date on the January 6th. In fact, you want to
No, this is good, sir. Got it.
that's the report where you talk about going to the house and Mr. Walsh retrieving a second item, correct?
Yes.
And nowhere in that report does it say anything about you telling you, my son used this, or words to that effect, or maybe it'll be helpful.
Correct.
And it is fair to say, isn't it, that when you went over to the house to pick up the devices, you had been told that you were to pick up two devices, correct?
Yes.
One cell phone and one iPad.
Yes.
And that was pursuant to the agreement that was reached between Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beelan and Attorney Tracy Mine, correct?
About two devices?
Yes.
I was told to get two devices. I'm not sure if the agreement, as I had read it, specifically stated two devices.
When you say that agreement, what are you referring to specifically? A written agreement?
The email
Okay.
between Attorney Minor and Attorney Beeland.
So as you sit here today, you don't even have a recollection of whether that email is referred to as the agreement only references Brian Walsh's cell phone and the iPad belonging to the 6-year-old.
As I remember, correct. As I remember it, we talked about what data was going to be extracted and what time frame.
No, but I'm asking you specifically about the devices you had been told to go pick up. You were told to go pick up one cell phone and one iPad.
That was my communication, yes.
And you got that communication from Sergeant Buchanan.
Sergeant Buchanan, yes, sir.
You didn't talk to Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beelan, did you? Regarding the agreement and what you were to pick up.
I do not recall specifically, but she was at the command post that night. I just don't recall a specific conversation with her about it.
And when you talked to Attorney Tracy Miner on January 6th, before you retrieved the items, you didn't talk to her about picking up extra items or anything of the sort. You just were talking about one cell phone and one iPad.
Correct.
And it's fair to say, isn't it, that the state of the knowledge of the investigation that you possess on January 7th of 2023, you had no information whatsoever that the iPad that was purportedly belonging to the 6-year-old had been used in any way to go from one location to another or anything like that, correct?
Just give me a second. I'm trying to process the question here.
Well, I'm trying to think up a
On
lie.
January 7th. Can you ask it again, sir? I'm sorry.
Restate the question,
It was-
because I'm
yeah.
not following it. If I can't follow it,
Sorry about that.
it's having evidentiary value to me. So why don't we just try that again?
I'll be glad to, Judge. I don't think I can follow. My question to you is that based on what you had learned thus far up to January 7th, you had no knowledge that the iPad that you went to pick up on January 6th had been in fact used by Anna Walsh. Had
Are we talking about the iPad mini or the cracked iPad?
the iPad mini?
Well, we did have information from the oldest Walsh that she had manipulated that device.
Right, but you didn't have any other information other than, quote, the manipulation of the device.
At what time are we talking, in the morning of January 7th? Previous to Trooper Guarino calling me?
Let's start here. Yes. Yes.
No, I did not. No.
And you certainly didn't have any reason to believe that an iPad belonging to a 6-year-old would contain so-called location data or search history or anything like that, did you?
Location data, yes, it could include location data. There was no thought in my mind about search history at that time.
And you say it could have had location data in it, but you didn't have any specific information about any specific location data that might be in a 6-year-old child's iPad, did you?
No.
And you didn't have any information conveyed to you by anyone about another iPad described as a cracked iPad that you retrieved on January 6th also, correct?
Correct.
In fact, when you went there, you weren't even expecting to pick up an iPad, a second iPad, were you?
Correct.
And it's fair to say, isn't it, that the Mass State Police utilizes body cams when they conduct searches, correct?
Yes,
You did so in this case, didn't you?
correct. So we use them until we secure the home, and then we usually deactivate them.
And were you wearing a body cam on January 6th when you went to the house to pick up the items?
No.
And you are familiar with Massachusetts State Police consent to search forms, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't use one or try to use one or attempt to fill one out before you took the items, the devices, for Mr. Walsh that day on January 6th, did you?
No, we were working together cooperatively to find Anna Walsh, and I was happy that we were working together.
No, but I understand your answer, but you didn't use a consent to search form.
There was already an agreement. So I think it wouldn't have made sense after just talking to Attorney Minor, talking to Sergeant Buchanan, an agreement in writing to then show up with a consent form. I think Attorney Minor would have had a problem with that.
Well, you think that, but my question is simple. You used those consent to search forms. You did not use one in this case.
That's correct.
And those consent to search forms, without belaboring the point, they're used to make sure that what you do, when it's looked at later on, that there's evidence that there was in fact a voluntary consent, and that whatever parameters of any search that was going to be conducted would be followed, and that the person giving consent understood that.
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Redirect?
Thank you, Your Honor. Lieutenant, you were asking a question about one of your police reports concerning whether or not you had mentioned that the son might have used the iPad for the police report.
Yes.
Do you have a memory of that paragraph where you mentioned that you were asked about as far as the son using the iPad?
You guys are confusing me. I'm sorry. Do I have a,
We're right there with you.
do I have a memory of the paragraph? Is the one I just read?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what you mentioned as far as the son using the iPad in that report? Would the report help you out?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes?
I'm showing you the report, which has a number of 2003-112-4/116. I want you to take a look at the third paragraph, specifically the second sentence. Go ahead, sir.
Got it.
All right. Lieutenant, did you write the report whether or not the son used the iPad?
I did.
Let me further on.
Any recall? The witness may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I can call my witness.
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commonwealth will call Connor Keefe.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall provide in the matter now and hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, and the names and penalties of perjury. Please have a seat. And just make sure to keep your voice up.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Connor Keefe, Keefe.
And sir, where do you work?
I work for the Massachusetts State Police.
And how long have you been with Massachusetts State Police?
Almost 8 years.
What is your current rank?
Trooper.
Within the state police, do you work for a division, a certain unit?
Yes.
What unit?
Currently assigned to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office.
And do you have any special responsibilities within that unit?
Yes.
What are those?
Digital forensic examiner and cell phone record analyst.
And have you received any training concerning the examination of cell phone or digital devices?
Yes.
Can you tell us kind of briefly what that training has been?
Sure. I have numerous trainings from Cellbrite, which is a cell phone forensics company. Also through Burla, which is a motor vehicle forensics company. I have online and hands-on training through Magnet, and I have cell phone record analysis training from LexisNexis and the FBI CAS team.
Are you familiar with a company called Keefe?
Yes.
And have you received any trainings from them?
Yes.
All of these trainings that you mentioned, do they carry certifications?
Yes.
What does it take to get the certifications?
Majority of the time, it's an in-person 40-hour training.
And so, in addition, have you had to take tests in these different disciplines as far as Celebrate and Keefe?
Yes.
Did you pass those tests?
Yes.
Now, I'd like to ask you some questions as far as your involvement in the disappearance of Anna Walshe.
Yes.
When did you first become involved?
January 5th, 2023.
And how did you become involved?
I was requested by my supervisors to assist with analyzing exigent cell phone records from Verizon.
I'm sorry, was that exigent cell phone records?
Correct.
Okay. And whose number did you believe you were examining?
I believe that number was associated with Anna Walshe.
And when was the last time that number connected with the network?
It was January 2nd, 3:14 a.m.
And do you know where that number connected with the network as far as tower?
It was in the area of 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, Cohasset, Massachusetts.
When were you doing this on January 5th?
Late in the evening.
And so now I want to ask you about January 6th. On January 6th, Friday, when did you arrive in Cohasset, if you remember?
Around 8:30 p.m.
And where were you stationed in Cohasset that day?
During the day, sir?
Yes, sir.
At the CP?
In the CP, that's the command post?
Correct.
All right. Now, did anyone ever give you any digital devices that day?
Yes.
Who gave you digital devices?
Lieutenant John Fanning.
What did he give you as far as devices?
He gave me 3 mobile devices.
And what, you say 3 mobile devices. Can you describe them? Can you tell us what they were?
Yes. One was an iPhone 13 mini, one was an iPad 6 mini, and one was an iPad 6.
And about what time do you think you got these devices from Lieutenant Fanning?
Sometime after 8:30 p.m.
And where did you go once you got these devices?
I went to the digital forensics lab at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office in Canton, Massachusetts.
And so you went from Cohasset to Canton at this point in time.
Correct.
And so we're talking about Friday night, January 6th.
Yes.
When you got to the lab, was there anyone else there from your unit to help you?
Yes.
Who was that?
Trooper Nicholas Guarino.
So what was your understanding of what you were allowed to do with these 3 devices?
I was told that Brian Walshe and his attorney, Tracy Miner, provided consent to extract and analyze these 3 devices from December 25th, 2022 through January 6th, 2023.
And so how did you begin to do that extraction on these devices?
The first device I extracted was the iPhone 13 mini.
Okay. And so walk me through that. What did you do to extract data from the iPhone 13 mini?
Sure. So in the digital forensics lab, used Key, which is a forensic machine. We use specialized forensics hardware and software. You will have this Key software program running on a forensic computer. You will plug the device into the Key hardware machine, and then the extraction process will begin.
And why didn't you just do all 3 at once?
We are limited to one Key forensic machine in the lab.
And how long does it take for Key to get the data from the device?
Could be hours.
That night, do you know when you began the extraction from the iPhone 13 mini?
approximately 9:30 p.m.
And do you know when that extraction was completed?
I believe 12:28 a.m. on January 7th.
Okay, so that took approximately 3 hours-ish?
Yes, sir.
After that data was extracted from that device, the iPhone 13 mini, what did you do next?
The next device I performed the forensic extraction on was the iPad 6 mini.
The iPad 6 mini. And did you wait until that was completed?
No,
What did you do?
I went home.
Okay, when was the data finally extracted from that device, if you remember?
I recall about 1:30 a.m.
Okay,
on the 7th.
and you weren't there when it was completed?
No, sir.
When did you return back to the digital forensics lab in Canton to continue your work?
Approximately 10:30 a.m. on the 7th.
Was Trooper Guarino with you at this point in time?
No, he was not.
What did you do next?
Next, I conducted the extraction on the iPad 6.
And when did you begin that?
About 10:50 a.m.
And when was that extraction completed?
Just before 11:30 a.m.
Now, once the data has been extracted from the 3 devices, what do you do with the data?
All the data has to be, so once the data is extracted, it is placed on the forensic server from the Keefe software.
So how long does it take to get from the Keefe software into the server?
Again, it can take hours depending on how large the extraction is, how much data there is.
And is this one at a time, or can you do all 3 at once?
Usually, we tend to do one at a time.
When did Trooper Guarino arrive on January 7th, that Saturday?
About 3 p.m.
And so did you have any difficulties getting the data from Keefe into the server?
No.
All right, so the data's in the server. Now what do you do with the data?
In order to read the data, we use a program called Cellbrite Physical Analyzer.
And so how long does it take to get the data from the server to be read by the Cellbrite program?
Again, it could take hours.
And so that day, when were you finally able to start looking at data from any of the devices?
Approximately 5 p.m. on January 7th.
When Keefe completes extracting data from a device, what is created from Keefe as far as a report?
There is a Keefe progress report.
And did Keefe create progress reports for these devices?
Yes.
And have you reviewed those progress reports prior to today?
Yes.
And did they accurate to your understanding of how Keefe works and what the device did as far as pulling the data?
Yes.
Your Honor, I apologize, but I think you have my only undoctored copies of the 3 Keefe reports in the binder, and I was going to see Martha.
Yes, pardon me. I was napping. It's my favorite question. It's my favorite question. The day I can nap on a yoga ball will be the greatest achievement of my life.
The next exhibits, but if there's no objection from counsel, I think we just move right along. So,
Okay, we'll move along then.
thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask that those next 3 reports from Keefe be marked as the next 3 exhibits. And I lost my chart, but I believe that would put us at
16, 17.
Thank you, Ms. Ward.
All right, so they're in evidence at 16, 17, and 18. And at some point, I know soon, not today, soon, like tomorrow morning,
Yes.
you're going to have a conversion chart for me.
You are right, Your Honor. We will do that.
All right.
Thank you. And I apologize for the confusion.
Do you?
What device did you have the opportunity to review? What data from what device did you have the opportunity to review?
The iPhone 13 mini.
Where were you reviewing this data from the iPhone 13 mini at the office in Canton?
I was on the first floor in the forensic lab.
Where was Trooper Guarino at this point in time?
He was on the second floor in the main office area.
And did one of you start before the other, or was it around the same time?
It was around the same time.
What device's data was he reviewing that night?
The iPad 6 mini.
Now, what did you notice when reviewing the iPhone 13 mini as far as the device being unlocked between January 1st and 2nd?
I noticed there were 4 unlocks between that time frame.
When you're looking at the Cellbrite program, can you just describe for us what does the Cellbrite reader look like when you're looking at it?
So Cellbrite Physical Analyzer, it's interactive. So it parses the data into a readable format. It can parse it out into calls, contacts, messages, web history, locations, stuff of that nature.
And so
Stuff.
what part of the Cellbrite program were you looking at as far as analyzing the data?
I went to the timeline view.
All right, what's the timeline view show you?
Timeline view gives you the ability, it shows you all device activity from the whole device.
And so what did you do as far as confining the amount, the time in the timeline that you were looking at?
I condensed the timeline down to January 25th, 2022 to January 6th, 2023.
And so you, when
January
you look,
26th? January 6th.
January 6th, December 25th, 2022 to January 6th, 2023.
got it.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so why didn't you go to December 24th of 2022?
That was outside the consent agreement.
And so when you're looking at this timeline function and you confine it to that area, what access do you have to data before the 25th of December?
None.
So again, you're looking at the timeline feature. And why do you choose to look at the timeline feature?
Because that will narrow down or condense the amount of data in which I am looking at.
Now, while you were looking at the timeline for the iPhone 13 mini that night, did anyone interrupt you?
Yes,
Who?
Trooper David Chico.
And what did Trooper DeChico ask of you?
Trooper DeChico informed me that he conducted an interview earlier in the day on January 7th, and Brian Walshe stated that on January 2nd, the only place he went to was Press Juice Bar in Norwell, Massachusetts.
And so after hearing that from Trooper DeChico, was there anything, did he ask?
Hey, did you just go smoke a fatty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Did you
just
do anything?
told
He
Scout
asked me to.
uniform she needs to pack.
Hmm.
So I want her getting ready so we can leave right after this. How much time is left?
I told you 29 minutes. I told you I got to record 3 ads.
I know. I got to pack still anyway, so
Yeah.
it's going to be
We're
so
going
much
to
fun.
see going to see Primus tonight. Little Primus.
Weekend with friends. Adulting.
Little less.
Well, you know.
Never seen Les Claypool play the bass. Fix your life.
Confirm or corroborate if there was any location data associated with that.
So this is on January 7th. You're looking at the timeline data and you're talking to Trooper DeChico.
Yes.
And what do you discover as far as location data on January 7th?
So prior to that, after Trooper DeChico told me, through the timeline application within Cellbrite, I filtered out all data but native location data within January 1st to January 6th.
Okay.
And from then, I started my analysis for January 2nd.
What is native location data in cell phone analysis?
Native location data is embedded in the Apple iOS operating system. It can come from a number of different things: Bluetooth, satellites, GPS, Wi-Fi, a number of different things.
And how is the device doing that?
The device constantly communicates with different technologies.
Now, you've confined the location data, the native location data from January 1 to January 6th, and you're looking at what time frame now?
The whole time frame.
And did you have any further conversation with Trooper DeChico about what you're seeing on January 2nd?
Yes.
What did you say?
Approximately 4:15 p.m., January 2nd, 2023, the device is in the area of Home Depot in Rockland, Massachusetts.
Now, do you talk any further with Trooper DeChico at this point in the evening?
Not that I recall.
Did you have any conversations after that with Trooper Guarino?
Yes.
And when was it that Trooper Guarino talked to you that night?
Approximately 6:30 p.m.
And what was it that Trooper Guarino approached you about?
He had found some concerning searches on the device that he was analyzing.
And he was looking at the iPad Mini 6,
Correct.
the one without the crack screen.
Yes.
Okay. And what was it that now he tells you this? Do you do anything to look at the data that he's talking to you about?
No.
Okay. So what did he tell you about?
He told me there was a number of concerning searches that occurred on the iPad.
Hey, pause
So
it a sec.
what was done as far as any further searching of the iPad 6 Mini?
So if maybe I'm screwing this up. I thought the one the 6-year-old had, the one she manipulated, had a cracked screen.
No, I think that's another one.
Okay, so this is the one that was subject to the agreement, not one that he just went up and grabbed and was like, "Hey, take this too."
Got an iPad over here.
That's some extra stuff for you to
I
take.
got more stuff.
I'm super helpful.
I'm a good guy.
Please find my
I got
wife.
summer teeth.
To my
Good luck.
knowledge, Trooper Guarino, he had stopped his analysis and informed the supervisors.
Now, with what you were looking at, which was the iPhone 13, did you stop your analysis as far as the work you were doing on the iPhone 13?
No.
So On the iPhone 13, did you have the opportunity to do any further analysis as far as native location data on that device?
Yes,
When did you do that?
January 8th.
And what were you analyzing as far as native location data for the iPhone 13 device on January 8th?
January 1st through January 6th.
And in reviewing that data, did you notify any troopers to go anywhere?
Yes,
Who did you call?
I called Lieutenant Fanning, I believe.
Okay. And where did you want to send troopers to?
The Claremont Apartments in Abington, the Point Apartment Complex in Abington, and Chatham West in Brockton, Massachusetts.
And why did you want to send troopers to those locations on January 8th?
Because at that time, it was still a critical incident, and Anna Walsh was missing, still missing at that time, and we wanted to try and locate her.
And why those apartment complexes?
In order to see if she might have went there, or
Well, how do you know? Like, is the phone telling you that it's at those locations? Why are those locations significant to you? How do you know to go to those? How do you know to send troopers to those locations?
in order to collect surveillance, see if anyone had seen her or.
Sure, I
Well,
understand
why?
that's the why. I guess the question is the how. So, what is it that you saw in the phone that said go there?
GPS points or native location points within those different areas.
Whoa.
You solemnly swear affirm that testimony you shall provide.
Again,
in the matter
we've
now herein
learned that
the
there
truth,
was
the whole truth, and nothing but the
impounded
truth, so help you God.
sections of this hearing, so they're
Please have a
basically
seat.
under
Just make
seal.
sure to sit back and close
Oh,
that
there's
door.
Big Dick Nick and his bad back or hip.
Was he walking like that before?
Yeah, he was walking like that before.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, Nicholas Guarino, Guarino,
And, sir,
I'm sorry, I
where
don't
you work?
believe you.
from Massachusetts State Police at the Norfolk
Lies.
County District Attorney's Office.
How long have you been with the Massachusetts State Police?
About 10 years now.
And how long have you been attached to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office?
November 2019, so about 5 years.
How often have you lied in court?
And I take it that your current rank is true for them?
Yes, it is.
Within that unit attached to the District Attorney's Office, do you have any specific responsibilities?
Yes.
What are those, sir?
I'm a forensics investigator doing cell phone and computer forensics and also a sexual assault investigator.
And what training have you had as far as digital forensics? Just kind of a brief overview.
Numerous trainings through Cellbrite, Magnet Axiom, Berlin Motor Vehicle Forensics, Great Key training, all that.
Including Cellbrite?
Yes, sir.
Now,
I thought his
when did
brain
you
didn't
become
work.
involved into the investigation concerning the disappearance of Anna Walsh?
The night of January 6, 2023.
And you say the night, so that would have been Friday night, January 26th, January 6th of 2023?
Yes, that's correct.
And where did you go to begin your work into this case?
To the Norfolk County DA's office.
And within the Norfolk County DA's office, is there a specific place where you were able to do your work?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell me about where's that located?
Yeah, so on the first floor, we have a digital forensics lab
Yes, sir.
where we have specialized hardware and software computer systems to extract digital devices.
And who did you meet there that night when you were working on this matter?
Trooper Connor Keefe.
And what did the two of you do that evening as far as working on this matter?
So we were provided 3 devices to be extracted and examined at some point.
And that night, about what time do you think you left the district attorney's office?
It would have been 12:45 on, technically it would have been the 7th of January.
And had you finished downloading all the devices?
No,
And forgive me, I just want to make sure I get this right. What are you doing with the devices on the 6th?
so each device has to be plugged into whatever we're using to extract the software, the data. So for this one, we use Great Key for the devices.
Okay. And so had you completed all the devices that night?
No, the first had been completed, and then the second one had started. And once we knew that it was pulling the information correctly, I left for the night.
And when did you return to work on this matter?
This would have been January 7th. I got to the office probably around 2:45, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And when you got to the office, sir, what was the status as far as the devices having the data pulled from them?
The third device had been pulled, I believe, that morning, and they had been returned prior to my arrival to the office.
So the devices weren't there at this point in time?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So what do you do now that the data's been pulled from the devices?
So they have to be downloaded from Great Key, and then once downloaded, they go onto our server. Once there, we have to open them in either Cellbrite or Magnet Axiom to view the information from the devices.
Okay. And so that day, what program did you, well, so when you got there at, say, 3 o'clock, what step in the process are you as far as analyzing the data?
I have to download it from the server, from Great Key, and then from the server, from the DA's office server, we have to open it into Cellbrite, or like I said, Axiom, to have that data viewable. That's what the programs make that data viewable. And readable.
Okay. And so, which program did you use to view the data of the devices on January 7th?
I only looked at one device. It was the iPad Mini 6. I used Cellbrite.
And were there any parameters on what you were allowed to look at as far as the iPad Mini?
Yes, there was a date range that was given to us for December 25th, 2022 to what would have been the 6th when we extracted the information.
And when did you start looking at the data from the iPad Mini?
It would have taken about an hour or so to download the information from Great Key, and then another couple hours to open it. So it was probably closer to 5 o'clock that afternoon or evening.
And to be specific, there were 2 iPads that were turned over. This is an iPad without a cracked screen. It's an iPad Mini 6. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
So where were you in the office when you were looking at this data from the iPad Mini 6?
The second floor forensic computer by my desk.
And where is Trooper Keefe in relation to you when you're doing this?
He had gone downstairs to the other forensic computer down in the digital forensics lab.
And what did you do as far as beginning your search or analysis of this data?
Once it opened in Cellbrite.
Yes, sir.
So once it opened in Cellbrite, would have looked at the timeline view. So I loaded timeline and filtered by the date range that was given.
Now, why do you use the timeline view?
Multiple reasons. It's the easiest way to pare down the data by date range, and it gives a comprehensive list of how the devices interacted from the 25th to the 6th, as told.
And what did you begin to notice while you were going through this data in the timeline range?
So it has every device interaction, what's been done with it. Started seeing searches on the 27th of December for best place to get divorced, worst place to get divorced, best states for divorce.
And after the 27th, did you notice anything further as far that caught your attention?
Love your banner,
babe.
Yes, the morning of the 1st, approximately 4:55 a.m., began seeing searches about how to dispose of a body.
And after starting to see these searches, what did you do?
So I went through the information, the data, probably up to about the 2nd, and I saw numerous searches about body disposal, removal of smell, glass at dump, cadaver dogs at a dump, and I contacted, I went downstairs and contacted Trooper Keefe to tell him what I'd found search-wise.
Okay. And after speaking with Trooper Keefe, what did you do?
I contacted Detective Lieutenant Tully and advised him of the search items I found.
Who is Detective Lieutenant Tully in relation to your unit, the state police?
He was in charge of the unit at the time.
And who was the executive officer?
Trooper John Fane. Sorry, Lieutenant John Fane.
Lieutenant John Fane. And so you call Detective Lieutenant Tully, and what do you decide to do as far as your analysis of the data at this point in time after speaking with Detective Lieutenant Tully?
Yeah, so I took that information from the searches. I created a PDF and emailed it out and stopped looking at the data on the iPad Mini after that.
Okay. And you said you emailed it out?
Yes.
You're on my approach?
Meg?
Thank you, Honor. Halfway there, sorry. Trooper, do you recognize that email that you sent to?
Yes.
Is that the email that you sent out to the members of the detective unit that night after seeing the data?
Yes, that is correct.
And what time did that email go out?
6:25 p.m.
On what day, sir?
Sorry, January 7th, 2023.
Thank you. Your Honor, this has already been marked as an exhibit within the book, and I believe I have that number right here for you, Your Honor. It is Exhibit 17.
Can I ask a question for clarification? It's Exhibit 17.
Yes, Your Honor.
At some point in time in the pleadings, I believe, I saw what I thought at the time was, based on what I knew of the evidence, what I thought was an incorrect date with regard to the searches of, call them the best place to get divorced. I believe in some of the pleadings, I think it was
127.
defense's pleadings. I'm not sure. It could be the prosecution's pleadings. That the date of that is listed in January. And that I remember reading it and thinking that's not consistent with what I thought the state of the evidence is. This witness has just testified that he started seeing searches on the 27th of December of 2022,
thought,
which is
Dave.
correct. Is there any dispute about this?
No, and I would just like to say, it wasn't my mistake because we didn't discuss divorce stuff, so I'm happy to say that I didn't make a mistake.
It wasn't, well, now that you've got me curious, it was in a list of, I thought it actually was in the defense's paper, just so that if you,
Judge, I don't mean to interrupt, but if you're referring to one of our exhibits, that was the exhibit introduced to the grand jury by one Michael Proctor. So if there's
it's actually, I'm not
No,
referring
it's
to that,
typed
counsel.
into
I'm
your
referring
motion.
to page 3 of your memorandum in support of your motion to suppress the search warrants. And on that, it says, A, best state to divorce for a man, 1/27/23 at 9:54:13 p.m.
Yeah, Your Honor, that was mine, and that must have been a
All right,
clerical error.
I'm just trying to get the accurate data.
You're, I think I can help counsel. Oh, thank you. Because it is a typographical error in one of the search warrants.
That's fine, just,
And I believe that that's how counsel got it. And so I see where it comes from. It's from a typographical error in one of the warrants. You picked up on it quicker than we did.
well, because the data is new to me and it's old to you, so you gloss over it, which is totally normal. I don't know anything about this case other than what you teach me.
Your Honor, I apologize. On page 3, that was a cut and paste from the warrant, just to show the court exactly what was put in. But we agree it's
I totally
12/27.
understand all of that. I just wanted to make sure that I have the right information.
And Your Honor, we all agree it's 12/27.
All right.
Thank you,
She's on
Rob.
top of her shit.
She's on top of her shit.
So you said it was we're looking at number 17,
Yes, Your Honor.
and for some reason I can't find that. Oh, here it is.
This is an ugly courtroom.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Yeah.
ugly.
I've never even seen courtroom like I've been in a lot of small town courtrooms, and I don't.
That
recall
looks like a fucking room that they just stuck some court shit in, like a bench and a fucking.
a
All
box.
right, so this email says something different from what we
Horrible.
just discussed, but I guess
Baby
underlying
poop
record will
green
tell us
walls.
Oh, it's terrible.
the dates, whether it was the
None of the
27th.
trappings you want to see in a
17,
court.
I see.
Tell her what jersey. I think it's the white jersey.
All right, sorry to interrupt. Are you done with this witness?
Oh, no, I have a few more questions, Your Honor.
All right, you go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I approach the version of counsel?
Yes.
Thank you. Trooper, I'm showing you a Celebrate document. And for the record, it's marked as Exhibit 18 in the binder, Your Honor. Trooper, do you recognize the Celebrate document?
Yes,
What is the Celebrate document?
this is the searches. This is the web history search, web history from the Apple iPad mini.
And so this is what you're alerting the other troopers to in your email.
Yes, this,
Sorry, bless you.
Thank
So,
Commonwealth, what exhibit? Because it's not on the list. Is this
18?
18,
is with the new exhibit?
it was in everything that we have already attached. So, Trooper, you sent this email out, you had a conversation with your unit commander. What do you decide to do as far as further analysis of the data from the iPad 6 mini?
again, due to the searches and speaking with my commander, I stopped looking at the data.
And what was your next steps as far as working on?
Get a
what was
warrant
your
for
next
the
decision
stuff
on what
that
you
we
wanted to do
weren't supposed
as far
to
as
see.
any further analysis on this, or to get your hands on this device?
We needed to work in the search warrant for the home to, the devices were there to get them again and re-image them, post a search warrant for those for the devices that we get.
So you said a search warrant for the home. Were you present for a search warrant of the Walshe home in Cohasset?
Yes, I was.
And when was that, sir?
Sunday, January 8th in the morning.
And what was seized from the home as far as devices that morning?
There was 3 MacBooks, the iPhone 13 mini, the iPad 6 mini,
Pause it a sec, babe.
the iPad 6 with a cracked screen.
I find it very suspicious that
Sus.
as soon as he tells his, what was it, commander, supervisor, what he found, he's like, stop looking. We were never supposed to be looking. Oh shit, stop now. Let's get some warrants. Wait,
Yeah,
stop.
this guy's pumped up on like 100 milligrams of oxycodone and is like fucking hating life. This dude hating life. I think he just retired because of his nightmarish
Alleged
life.
injuries.
I mean, when you suck as bad as he do and you take the beatings, like That's no fun. Who wants to do that? He's like, fuck all this shit, man. It's like, I'm not good at it. And I'm sick of them picking about. Like, quit picking on me. I'm no good.
Is
Not a
Guarino
good
the
data
one
guy.
that said "fuck me" under his breath the first trial?
It might have been Guarino. I think it was. I don't know if it was "fuck me" or something like that. He said some under his breath shit, like he was getting hammered.
Fuck me. Fuck this.
Another
damn.
iPad that I don't remember the exact model number of, and
he's
an
hating
iPhone
life.
SE.
You're on ready, just one moment.
Kill me. That's
I
what
would
he
like
said.
to ask you this
Oh,
last
yeah.
question. On that report that just showed you, was that in UTC?
The registry search? Yes, that's correct.
And so what would need to be done, what do you need to do to UTC time to understand what time that search would be conducted in the East Coast in, say, January 2023?
Due to daylight savings, it would be minus 5 hours to the time that's listed.
Thank you. Nothing further wrong.
Our chat's on it.
Why did you
Chat
stop?
is always on.
What's that, sir?
Why did you stop?
The searches, the data.
Why'd you stop?
To me, the searches that I saw looked like something more than a missing person.
So why'd you stop, though?
Tipton's just sitting there staring.
Right. It's like
You told us just now in direct
dumbfounded.
examination that you spent about an hour to transfer the extracted data, correct? Once it's off the great key.
Yes, that's correct. It has to download from their server.
And then it took about 2 hours just to upload it and to celebrate this going up.
Yeah, give or take, sir.
And then you started your analysis about 5 p.m.
Approximately, yes.
And it's fair to say that then it's about an hour later, after you've been looking at the data, that's when you began to see these search histories that caused you some concern.
That's correct, sir.
And then it wasn't until about 20 or 30 minutes later, based on that email that's exhibited, it's been admitted that you then stopped and emailed.
I had stopped prior, but I had to export the information, that web stuff, so that takes time, and then put it into the email.
So it's fair to say then that you spent about an hour from 5 to say approximately 6, approximately 5 to approximately 6, looking at the data.
Yes, that's correct.
And you spent about an hour looking at, for instance, the search history data.
It was in the timeline, yes.
Yes, and so it took you an hour to scroll through and look at that data before you even came upon these suspicious.
Yes, that's correct.
So
Oh,
it
yeah, I was
wasn't
gonna
that when you opened up the timeline feature and then put in the time parameters, that suddenly these suspicious search histories popped up and you looked at them and recognized them as you're really suspicious. You had to scroll through hundreds of search history data before you even got to it, correct?
Yes, if there was
Yeah.
numerous bits of information in the data, so it's everything that was on the device, how it was utilized. So I believe it was like 190,000 different entries of data.
And you would agree with me, wouldn't you, Trooper Guarino, that if you had been instructed that the parameter was limited to communications, you wouldn't have been looking at that search data, scrolling through it for an hour, would you?
No, I would have.
You would
Even though
have?
You were given parameters of communications only.
I wasn't given that parameter.
No,
No.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, if.
I apologize. If you were given strict
Come on.
parameters, that you were only to look for communications, and there was no indication of search history or location data or anything of the sort, you would have been scrolling for an hour through that search history, would you?
It would depend.
What?
There's multiple ways to have communications on a device. Like a web chat feature, calls, obviously the regular calls, texts. But
See?
the app data also has,
Pause
like
this
Snapchat,
shit.
loads
Pause
differently.
it.
So
That's where they're getting their whole, what is it?
Plain view.
Plain view doctrine
Yeah.
stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm too high to think.
Why are
plain
you
view
so baked?
doctrine. Saying that he was looking for web chats in the search history categories. So he may have been in there anyway, hence, but no.
Oopsies.
Whoops. All right, let's go.
there's multiple ways to find only the communication data.
Right, and once again, Celebrite Physical Analyzer has all these categories you can check off, correct?
Yes.
Regarding communications. correct?
That is correct.
But you
So
didn't
you're not
shut
even
off the-
looking at
because
it.
You didn't know, you didn't believe, you were told that there were in fact parameters.
The parameters I was told was the date range and that communications prior to the 25th were privileged because they're made in attorney-client privilege items.
And when you just now referred to app data, it's fair to say that isn't it that what you were using, the Celebrite physical analyzer, actually segregates, pull out app data separately and inform the end. Here's app data. You can look at this as app data.
Again, it would depend on the app.
All right, so there, no plain view. Set the parameters right, you don't have this problem.
So just so it's clear.
Excuse me. We're good, sir.
Man, the government's got, the prosecution's got, I think, further to go to give this judge something.
When we hear about this timeline feature and things like that with the Celebrite physical analyzer, it's not that when you open up the timeline feature, all of a sudden, all of this data, we're talking about all these search histories, they pop up on the screen. You have to begin to methodically scroll through them and analyze each one.
Yes and no.
Okay. And that, yes, and no.
Yeah.
You had to scroll through an enormous amount of data to even get to what you consider to be the suspicious searches.
Again, yes and no.
Okay. Yes. Right.
I'm sorry.
Just ask him, what's the no part, asshole? You just said you had to scroll through all this shit to get to it. You trooper. Oh, yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Redirect.
Nothing further on.
Witness may step down.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. Well, we went through most of the chats. Laura is a new member. What'd
Aw,
she get, babe?
family hug. That's what she gets.
And what is that? Lene Salverson gifted a membership.
Aw, family hug.
Abby Exing became a new member. Thanks, Abby Exing.
Why didn't we get to hear the legal argument? I don't
There's
understand.
more. There's another day where we have to
No, I
continue.
looked all over. I didn't see shit. I didn't see any other days. Somebody's got to guide me. If there's another day.
I thought someone said May 25th, May 20 something, and July.
Like I'm putting my search term is Brian Walshe hearings. So I'm not seeing shit. I ain't seeing it.
What's Abby
You
X
send
get,
it to
babe?
me. You send me an emails with the link. That's what
What's
you do.
Abby Exing get, babe?
Aw, family hug. That's what she
Uh,
gets. Welcome to the fam.
Catastrophe
y'all.
asks, Allie, does a failure to communicate between law enforcement go against law enforcement? I think is what, or fit in against law enforcement. They all claim to have no idea what each other is doing, like in Reed. It's bizarre because typically they are always saying they know what all of each other are doing so that they can rely on
Collective knowledge.
collective knowledge doctrine.
Whee!
Collective knowledge. We're all working
Hey, I
together.
know what he's talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. We all know what one another's talking about. That's why, because we have collective knowledge. We all know it.
It's like we're
I know what
synced,
that cop knows.
we're synced in the brain,
He
like the
told me.
AI.
All right. Well, I'm seriously disappointed that there was no legal argument. Can you ask Melanie if she got the filings post hearing, please? Because they were able to file supplementals.
Right.
I would very much like to see those.
We'll find out.
Very, very much. We did not get our AC fixed. It's like we're in hell.
It's 5 days. 5 days left. 5 days left.
They got the part though. So
It's on its way. It's being
There's
delivered.
an end in sight.
An end in sight. GA Hello Kitty became a member. What's she
Aw,
get, babe?
family hug. That's what she gets. Welcome to the fam, yo.
And I put this up and thanks Just South of History, but you guys are so sincerely and genuinely kind and loving to your viewers.
Aw.
It really does feel like a family here. Oh,
We
thank
love
you.
y'all. Y'all are fam.
All right.
I don't throw that shit around lightly.
Laura
Right?
Richards says, can your Patreon members be members on YouTube too?
Yeah, for sure. But you have to pay for both.
No. But we have figured out how to give them access to the member onlys.
Oh, speaking of which, hold on. Before you all dip, let me do a
And-
little giveaway. A little July giveaway. I'm about to give until it hurts, y'all. Give it till it hurts.
And then also, if you're a Patreon member, like
Give it till it hurts, y'all.
when you put something in chat,
Boom.
write like Pat Mem and then a colon and put your chat. I've told Tracy and Mandy to keep an eye out for it.
Love Boston got some love. Brooklyn got some love. Marianne got some love. Who else got love? Who else got love? Charmaine Lily got a little love. Is that 5? Did they give out 5?
Yeah,
Charmaine
that sounds like
Lily.
5.
Love
Hey,
Boston. Brooklyn.
Fracka said, has anyone seen Buchanan and Blobfish in the same room at the same time? I think not. Coincidence? Well, Bob, you put up that picture of that one guy. What's his
Bitter
name?
beer face. Bitter beer face guy. Yeah, that's him. That's him. All right. So I'm gonna see if Allie can hunt down the supplemental filings. I'm not done with this. I mean, there's got to be a ruling coming down very soon.
There's a ruling, yeah. Laura's a new member. Angel's a new member.
Oh, family hugs. Love y'all. Welcome.
Our
to the
Bob and I
family.
are about to have a weekend.
We about to dip.
Not
y'all.
softballing, but with an interim softball game.
There's gonna be a little softball.
An interim softball game.
I don't know if I'm gonna drag you down. You don't have to come. I might dip out while you're still sleeping like an angel.
But we're about to have a fun weekend with friends. So
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Usually our summers are chock full of friends and
concerts. Lots of concerts usually. We haven't been able to see the fish.
We haven't been able to do anything this summer.
We're missing the fish in Chicago to be at the True Crime Podcast Festival, which if you use promo code Defense20, you will get 20% off your tickets.
See you in Boston.
Come see us. We're going to do, babe, I'm really thinking about doing a meetup at the waterfall.
I mean, I feel like that's a thing.
I feel like that's a fucking thing, sis.
Well, especially if we get a lot of people, a lot of like Karen Reed people, a lot of local Boston people using that Defense 20.
Oh, shit. Look at that.
You'll have to come by our table.
The motion to dismiss hearing is July 24th. Yeah, if you're in town or if you're at the con, obviously come to the table. I'm bringing all kinds of stickers, like the ones I never mailed. Poor Megan. I have to mail them to Megan now. Now it's like the guilt is so heavy on me. It's like I've got to mail her stickers, babe. Don't let another day go by when I'm not mailing Megan the stickers.
All right, we go to the post office together.
Yes. She needs them. She needs them in her life. They will make her feel better.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
I promise I will not give them away, Megan. JD with the late soup. Love Primus. Oh, it went. There it went. It went. It was there and then it was gone. Oh, Love Primus. Here's a little something for your show tonight. Oh, thank you. Parking or whatever. Have fun. Nice. You're so sweet, JD. Thank you. Thank you a million times over. And thank you all. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe. I have been incredibly neglectful to our mods who we love.
Wait. There was Ryan. He said 32,000 text missed by Guarino when he did the extraction of the Fairwell's phone in the Birchmore case. What a guy. Hello from Boston. All right.
What a guy.
At the True Crime Podcast Festival, Defense 20. And Ryan, if you look at Bob's banner down there, he's incorporated that not finding of phone data.
Big
and
Dick Nick,
data.
Master of never finding and losing phone data. He's
Bob, please get Allie a portable AC unit at Menards.
We got him. We got.
I know, and the basement really is cool-ish. It's just that my body's not cooperating.
Is the dehumidifier still working down there? I emptied the tank last night.
I emptied it too yesterday. I don't hear it.
Say what? It's outrageous. Really?
I did. Before when I did the
Your
live
bad
here
wing and
yesterday.
everything?
Yeah.
It's kind of heavy.
No, it wasn't bad. I'm getting stronger. My physical
Kinda-
therapy.
It's kind of heavy. All right, y'all. We love you so much. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Spend it with family, friends. Go listen to some music. Get off the tubes. Go swim.
And the
Walk
X's.
your dog. Guys, go touch the grass. 'Cause it helps mentally. Like I'm about to dip. I'm about to record these 3 ads. It'll be way too long. And then, we're out of here. We out.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank the people again.
All right. We love you guys. And mods, Allie, so rudely
you,
interrupted
mods.
my thank you to you. We love you guys so much. You guys are amazing. Thank you a million times over. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe on the way out. And we will see you Monday. Because without y'all, I want you to remember this. I'm just an old man.
Talking to himself.
Boop.